Back again. It's been a while. So we are doing an update segment on Steve Sumner. Let's bring on my co-host because I'm not one to hog the spotlight. Here he is.
Come on now. You're way better to look at than I am. That's for sure. So hog away. But hey, Dee Dee, it's been a minute since we've had a show.
It has.
Yeah, but this
You're
one
a busy girl.
Yeah, well, it's we got to build up some suspense on what we're going to do next. And plus, the Barry Morphew case is on the download, and then they sort of solved the Delphi murder thing a little bit. So that's sort of out of there. But we still have Steve Sumner on the run. So we got to start putting something out there. And we started getting people
put
going
some more
back.
Pressure on that situation.
Yeah.
His face out there. He's not an attractive dude. He could be easy to spot. It's
a big world out there, Dee Dee.
It is big. So we just need to, get his face out there and, lock him in people's minds.
Yeah. And, there's been some more stuff up in Madison County because I think that there's, he's being assisted and there's a lot of foul play at hand.
I do. I think I was even telling Jamie that I think, if he's not in Mexico, somebody's hiding this dude.
Yeah. So who do you want to bring on first? You want to bring on Jamie or Catherine?
Let's bring on Jamie.
Okay, let's bring on Jamie. All right.
And then we'll bring on Catherine.
Hello, Jamie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Now, I want to give you a plug about your online sales and stuff, or is that okay to do that? So
absolutely. Yes, please do.
You do that every 8:00 every weekday?
Pretty much every night. Yep.
And you are like, I've seen some of your pictures in fashion. I know you're probably eyeing my beautiful jacket.
Yes, I'm checking that out.
Yeah, so you can get that at actually do a cheap plug for my wife. She's going to be on. You ever hear of the show? You would probably have it, Dee Dee. Where's Sherman on Fox 59?
Yep.
She's going to be on there tomorrow from 8 to whatever. So tune in and you can see her wonderful shop and Speedway and all that. So she's a seller of. I'm a buyer. I'm not a buyer, but you all are sellers. But But so you can catch. Where can we catch your sales? Are you on probably on TikTok?
Well, I'm on Facebook mainly under LuLaRoe Jamie Lynn. Yes.
Jamie Lynn. So look up Jamie Lynn, buy your stuff. Buy her stuff.
Got a huge boutique full of goodies. Kids.
Yes. Yep. So Dee Dee, start some questioning. I'm just gonna sit back and listen.
Okay, Jamie. First off, it's been a good hot minute since we touched up on this case about Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any recent sightings?
Well, there was a tip that came in from Tennessee recently. The gal actually reached out to us. I don't know where that is. It was reported to the marshal, and I asked him about it the other day because apparently this guy actually took a picture of Steve and he ran it through Google, and that's how he figured out who he was. He was actually driving a church bus full of kids. And since they haven't
the gentleman that took the picture?
Steve was. And since they're not giving me any updates of what's going on, I'll just tell you a little bit about it. I did ask the marshal about it the other day to see if they had actually been able to see the picture and verify it was at a church in Tennessee. And all he told me was Knoxville marshals are working on that. So it was reported about 3 weeks ago. He verified to me that he thought it was legitimate. And just the gal that came to us lives here in Indiana, and that pastor in Tennessee reached out to her pastor in Indiana. That's how she found out about it. And like a week later, she finally posted in our Steve Sumner study group. So somebody from there reached out to her, and she gave us quite a bit of information.
He has access to more children.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Do you think he's flown the coop now? Do you think he's like moved on, or
Well, apparently that pastor went to his landlords when they didn't show up Sunday, and the landlord said they took off real quick.
Dang it. It's like, well, you know what they say, you can run, but you can't hide, or you can hide, but you can't run out. One of those things.
Yeah.
So, well, that's interesting. So let's bring on Catherine, because this is sort of what got this thing going here a little bit. And Catherine, of Quit. I bet you I can tell you what she's doing. She's lighting somebody's ass up on Facebook that's saying something bad about somebody.
I'm sharing this. I'm sharing this all over. So I'll be interested to see how many more viewers pop on. So I just put it,
it's growing. It's growing. But so, we did this show. I'm trying to say a year. It's been a minute since we did the show with this story, and I think we lumped it in with the Megan Stoner or somebody else. But all of a sudden, I started getting page likes and in the video, people liking the video. I'm like, what's going on? And then I start looking, and it's like Catherine has put up $25K for the finding of this bum, and now people are really, so we got like a bunch more views. So I'm like,
so it actually was the three of you. Somebody had asked me to tune into this, not one of you. Somebody asked me to get on here and watch this. So I got on that night, and you guys were on, and then I started saying things, and then one thing led to the next, and then, well, here we are, $25,000 later.
Yeah.
And so I was watching the Lycans, who want to make me just completely vomit. Yep. And they're doing all this charity work here in Madison County with kids. And I was not happy with that, the fact that they've had so much in their hands. So I got to thinking after I posted about it, and I thought about it. And I thought, you know what can I do to serve the entire community, not just one group? Mm-hmm. And so this was my Christmas charity gift to Jamie Lynn and her kids, and to every other child in this community and woman who has been abused by the system and let down by the prosecutor's office. Mm-hmm. And maybe we can get some justice. And so this will stand, and then we'll just know how many holidays we go by, because I think he's been gone almost 2.5 years now.
It'll be 2 years in April.
Yeah. So we're going to, people like to say things. I'm one of those people, I'll put up or shut up. So I'm just going to put up at this point. And we're going to we're going to empower women like Jamie, who have been, given the shaft in the prosecutor's office, who have been beat down by so many people. We're going to give her a voice.
Mm-hmm. Because we're not just fighting for my kids. I'm definitely fighting for my kids. We're fighting for all kids. I mean, he is out there. Who knows how many kids he's groomed in 4.5 years.
I can't even imagine how your stomach dropped when you learned that he had access to more children.
I know. Well, and I mean, he's been missing since 2 years. It'll be 2 years in April, but this happened 4.5 years ago, and he hasn't served one day in jail. So,
well, he's in jail every day because he can't show his face in certain places, but it's still not jail, or he hasn't faced the justice. And so I like to welcome our viewers when we have viewers. And I met Jared tonight at a meeting and told him about it. He's watching on YouTube. And if you want to comment on YouTube, if you want to comment on YouTube or Facebook, it comes to us and you can look at it. So then we got Drew Weingart. He calls him Roadhouse Rodney.
Yep. Hi, Drew.
Hi, Drew. Yeah, that's a great name for him.
Yes, it is.
And of course, Drew's very right. And here Rodney did that, face no consequences. I want to just touch here. We've got big changes coming in Madison County.
Yes.
And it's really, to be honest, the elected officials who have failed Jamie Lynn and hundreds of kids in this community and women, if not thousands. And our changes here, Russ Willis, the GOP chair, who has been a huge cheerleader for Steve Sumner's, along with Rodney Cummings, will be stepping down. He will not be seeking another term, which is excellent. But they want to put the chameleon Kelly Hewer in there, and a vote for Kelly Hewer, people, is a vote for Russ Willis and Rodney Cummings to say in their whole trenches of making sure we don't get fair and equal justice.
They have matching license plates. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's disgusting. So I will tell all of you,
very tacky.
You hear it live. The two new candidates who we want for change in Madison County, because we are here. Lisa Rinker will be running for chair, and Dr. John Ackerman, who's a retired professor from Anderson University, will be running for the vice. We still are in need for a secretary and a treasurer, but I want people to know we are getting somewhere.
Yep.
So you guys have been fighting that, and we've done that on the Mouthwash Talk Show with my political show. I have a segment called "Burning the Bridges of Madison County" because you got Barry Morphew up there. Then you have Megan Stoner that's sort of in that area.
And
then
she's
you
still
got this
at it.
deal. It's like, what do you people got in the water up there?
Well, there's so
remember,
much
Barry
more.
put in our trees.
Yeah, so we just had Joshua Senseney, who's an APD officer who was assigned to the school at Anderson as a resource. He just got busted for children. So there's a lot of wheels that are spinning right now, but I want people to understand we need to talk about who failed Jamie Lynn. That's just as important as everything else that's going on, because she took them documents. She said he's got frequent flyer miles. He's violating his protective order because he's so close to my house, and still they allowed him to run.
Yep.
I mean, what's the advice that you were given by the prosecutor?
Well, the first advice he gave me, because I ran into him a couple days later, and his advice to me was, Jamie, get a gun and go home. That was his advice to me. I was shaking like a leaf. My whole body was vibrating. I had 5 kids. My youngest is handicapped. And his advice, I mean, I'm not against guns. I was raised around guns, but I would have shot my foot off. I mean, that was his advice to me.
Your gun may have discharged in the roadhouse. Right. I mean, you just never know. That happens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep. That was his advice to me. And he made promises to me that day. He'll explain to me that we'd have to have a special prosecutor. I will get you the best. No, I believe that he got me one that he can control, because if you could hear the recording I have of meeting with him this past July, which I pretty much finally just demanded a meeting because he would not, they wouldn't talk to me. And I haven't bugged him at all through this whole thing. I sat back, and who would think they wouldn't just do their jobs? And so finally, I just had like 4 questions, pretty general questions. And when they were giving me the runaround through email with the victim advocate, where the special prosecutor is, Tippecanoe County, I messaged Rodney and messaged him screenshots of that conversation and said, would you please sit down and talk to me? And he read it and he moved on. So, yeah, I worked for Rodney. I mean, I've stuck up for him for so many years, not anymore. But and
I want to tell everybody, you know, and I am going to put this into a lot of different things. Kelly Hewer has had several years to reach out to Jamie and make this right. And now she wants to be the chair. Okay. She's had several years, but more importantly, people, we have an election coming up in 26. They are grooming Andrew Hanna to take over Rodney's position. I don't dislike Andrew. I like Andrew. So it's now or never time, Andrew. It is your duty to get this ball moving and show the people that you are for the people and put some things into action. Russ Willis was just found by the special prosecutor that he violated election canvassing.
Oh, no.
Rodney Cummings assigned a special prosecutor, and he faced no charges, even though he was guilty of election crime. None.
He got him a good special prosecutor too.
Right. And honestly, this falls on Andrew Hanna. He is the chief deputy. He wants to lead this county to the next level. Well, here's your chance. You got 10 months to get it done. Because if you cannot show us that you can put people in jail and get things done the right way, and you can't keep elections fair and transparent, your time will come too. So, you know, and this is the scary part. Jamie Lynn and I here, we're going up against Indiana State Troopers, prosecutors, attorneys. You know, the list is long. But that's where all these child molesters are at. It's disgusting.
So Laura asked, help me understand why Steve isn't captured with this latest info. Is it that they just didn't act on it quickly enough and then he figured it out? Or
how much money do the Lycans have, Jamie?
It just appears to me, and I'm sorry, I've said this on another show. If they want me to say different things, then all they have to do is talk to me. All I can do is go by what I see. And it doesn't appear to me like they want him found or that they're looking for him. I mean, it really doesn't. He's not that smart.
His bond is what, $500 or something like that? Is it?
But once they added, that was from when Rodney did the first 3 level 6 felonies in December of 2020. The next spring, it went on to the special prosecutor. They added the other 15 charges, which they made a new cause number because of that, which vacated that little bitty DUI bond. And the judge, the special good judge that I got, vacated any bond. So he had 0.
No bond.
None. 18 charges. Level 3 rape. no bond.
And so nobody's been looking for him because nobody's put any money behind it. And so it's like, well, let's put some money behind it.
Yeah, they're not going to look for him. There's no money. I mean,
and then you're sitting there. Now you're technically still married to this guy, right? Because
no.
Oh, you got that fixed? Because I think when we talked
the last time,
you were still
yes, third and second judge. Yeah, I went through 3 attorneys and 2 judges, and I finally got divorced. Yes, thank God.
Man, it's our heart goes out
2
to
days
what
later.
Our hearts goes out to what you've been through. And here's one. Here's a question from Brianna Davis. We had to beg for them to put a flyer out. I mean, what's the flyer, and what elaborate on that for us?
So what she's saying is I asked the marshal about it. On their website, they didn't even have him listed amongst their most wanted. There was nothing on their page, nor on Madison County Sheriff's page. So Catherine talked to Sheriff Beeman. I talked to the marshal. He told me that you have to put it in, and they decide whether to put it on there or not. Next thing you knew, Catherine put up the reward, and they decided to put those up.
So here's the issue in Madison County. So Sheriff Beeman thought he controlled the most wanted page. Come to find out, when he won as sheriff, the page was taken over by the commissioners.
Yeah.
Commissioners have complete control over the sheriff's page. And so now he had to get approval. And who doesn't want him found? The commissioners, IT. Nobody wants him found. Here's what everybody needs to pay attention to. Do you know that this reward has been up for over 45 days? $25,000. Not one time has our local paper, the Herald Bulletin, put it in the paper. Not once.
Nope.
But
the good news is Steve probably doesn't get the Herald. So,
But it just goes to show how deep this corruption. On top of it, I am not aware at this very moment of one elected official in Madison County who has shared that reward post. What's that tell you?
Exactly. None of them. Not one time. Ken Delapasteed was a very good friend of Steve's. So when I walked in on it end of August, and the election came 1st of November. And that was the year that, everybody got out and voted. I voted a small county church out here. And the cornfields, everything was full. I went down there 4 or 5 times trying to vote because I had to get my kids off the bus, stuff like that. And then finally, the last time, it was my last chance. And I was looking for a place to park. And how I saw it amongst all those cars, I saw the car that Steve was driving. And wouldn't you know, here comes Ken Delapasteed and Steve walking up to the polls. I just said, I guess I'm not voting this year. And I left. But they're good friends. Yeah.
Now, I have a question for you, Catherine. I think you would probably be able to answer this question for me. There's obviously a wanted poster by now, correct?
Well, we put one together with the political spotlight. Christopher Bilbrey helped us put that together. And
can I ask the phone number? Are you going through Crime Stoppers or just your local law enforcement?
Jamie?
Local law enforcement, I guess.
You're going through the marshal.
Yeah, the marshal. Yeah. Yeah. So I sent him the flyer like 5 minutes after Catherine posted it, and he had already seen it on her page.
So here's Brianna. She seems to be really up on this. She's going to be our top true crimer tonight. Between her and Laura, they really got some stuff. So Todd Culp has questioned your sanity, Jamie.
Yeah,
multiple times.
Our auditor. Now that's our auditor.
That's our auditor. Okay. Says he doesn't know me, although he's been to our house and.
You're quite pleasant. From what I know of you, you're quite pleasant. And what's odd is, like I said, we had Rodney on our show Mouthwash to talk about, it was just before this stuff happened. To me, there was just something, I interview these people and you just wonder, you just get a little feeling, just get that feeling of like something's up. And
absolutely.
Now, Dee Dee, what was more amazing is that the cops come out. Steve's not supposed to be anywhere around Jamie. And Jamie has to call because he's at his parents' house, who are next door. I don't know. What are they, 50 feet from you?
Yeah, they're not that far. State police said that night, Keith O'Donnell, who I've known for a long time, he said, Jamie, he's going to stay next door at his parents. and you and the kids are going to stay at your house. And I mean, as soon as he said that, I'm already in shock and upset. And I just kept saying, no, 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 which we ended up leaving that night because Kleitheimer ended up showing up, and we ended up leaving and going to kids talk and then state police posts and stuff. So we weren't here, and we did end up going to my mom's and staying. But when I ran into Rodney, I brought that up to him, and he, instead of Sheriff Mellinger was the sheriff, and Keith O'Donnell, state police, they were going to let him stay next door to us. Rodney. So instead of Rodney doing anything, or Scott Mellinger doing anything, or Keith O'Donnell doing anything, they called Russ Willis, who called Wesley Likens, who ran down, or I was told, went down and told him he couldn't stay there.
But where did he get to go stay at?
About 4 miles up the road at his church. And
That's
then before he moved into the Likens ended up also putting him into a home that I was told was right like a mile down the road on our road. It was nothing for us to come home, like me and the kids from the store, and Steve be standing on our road, because Likens has also hired him after this happened, after he was, caught, and he would be standing down here by the cornfields, helping, taking in their crops. And I mean, my kids, whichever one was with me, Selah would like hyperventilate.
Seeing that.
Those people own farmland everywhere, and even not just in this county. And they're going to put him in a field on our road. I mean, he drove by our house every day.
That's just and I remember that, that time period when we were talking to you, and we didn't do a live interview. I did a, interview recorded, and we put it on the show, and I could sense the apprehension. I could sense the fear. I could sense all of that stuff that you were going through, and having you talk tonight with having some separation of that. I know you're in a better place, but you're still not where you want to be.
I'm over here reading what
Dr. Catherine
is commenting here.
Well, it's just that I didn't know her. I didn't know Bree. I didn't know Catherine. And we all kind of accidentally came together with
this show is what brought me to
jail. Well, yeah, we won't take a lot of credit for that,
helped give me some backbone, because the way they treated us, and we became the plague and anything else, though, the way they treated us, I knew these people. I worked with these people, yet I became, scared to death of them.
Yeah.
Yelled at by the state cop over and over while they treated him like a king and rolled out the red carpet for him. That was multiple times.
So let's take a second here. I want to bring, we've gained a lot more viewers here. I want to backtrack a little bit on the bus sighting, but I want to tell everybody, hey, we got Catherine Callahan and Jamie Lynn tonight on the Forensic Foreplay show. Yeah. And so I want to backtrack a little bit, and Laura's she's playing producer in the comments. So if somebody that just came on here about the reiterate about the school bus, the church bus driver.
So there was a gal that posted in our Steve Sumner study group that her pastor here in Indiana had been contacted by a pastor in Tennessee, I think the Pigeon Forge area, and Steve was driving their church bus full of kids, and I guess he'd just been there a couple weeks, but the pastor kind of started I don't know, there was something that happened that he was questioning, so he took a picture of him when he didn't know it and ran it on Google and figured out, and apparently I guess they must have picked up on it, because then I don't know what day it was, but the following Sunday he went to his rental house, wherever he was renting, to check on him because they hadn't shown up for church, and the landlord said they booked.
They're gone. So
they ran.
So it was out there. Now, I think you should give that guy $1,000 of the reward, and then that'll, tell other, just for even trying.
She's still trying to help. She finally said to me that she's a victim herself.
Oh, so it's a she. Yep. Okay.
And she's really, she said, she really stuck her neck out, honestly, because they had already known about it for a week. So I don't know what they did. They won't, give me anything. I realize and I respect that there's things that they probably can't tell me. And as long as they're doing their job, and it even appears that they're doing their job, I'm okay with that. That's their job. But
right. Yeah. It very much seems like you've gotten the bad end of the stick here on that. I just think I can see Dee Dee up there, the wheels turning. We're going to catch this.
Look at her.
I'm going to catch this guy and break his kneecap.
The last time we had our show, he was in Tennessee And if memory serves, it was the Pigeon Forge area. So he had laid roots there for at least a year.
Yeah. But get this. The thing is that was stated, but I was told it was a year ago in November. I was actually finally got my nerve up to talk to Keith O'Donnell about a couple things that had happened.
Sorry,
Which,
my kid just called me.
all lies. But he said, I asked him about that tip in Tennessee. And he said, and the marshal told me the same thing, that was not him. Keith O'Donnell literally said we went in guns a-blazing and it was not him. So why was his girlfriend just selling condominiums in Pigeon Forge? That's what we were just told. And I'm telling you, the stuff she told us was very legitimate. I mean, who makes that up? Selling condominiums?
Didn't we have something about Montana? Wasn't there a Montana sighting too? There was a couple different things.
Well, in the beginning.
I was contacted by a gal that had lived with him and his first wife in Montana, and he had contacted her and tried to invite her to go back to her hometown. She lives here in Indiana somewhere now, but she told us her stories of him at 15 years old. And I gave her information, state police, marshal, all that. She still says to this day that they acted more interested. What'd she say? They acted more interested in, Bree, what did she say? That they acted more interested in, they weren't concerned about what she had to say, basically. Okay. And which that he told her
is concerning.
Yeah.
Both things are concerning. What she has to say and them not being concerned about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
It just, the whole thing smells like we don't want to catch this guy. It's going to be a major problem.
On top of it, if we look back, the Likens purchased his property in cash.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know how much that was for, or do we have any?
I don't know. I asked George. I interviewed George last May. I got a whole recording of that too. Yeah.
Man, you've you've really come out of your shell on this thing.
I'm just
watch out for Jamie. Do not mess with Jamie.
Why do they think their kids are better than mine? I mean, what what I'm saying? If this was their kids or their grandkids, this would not be happening. Their kids are not better than my kids or anybody else's kids that he's out preying on.
What floors me is I'd be sharing this like crazy if it doesn't matter who the guy is. Why wouldn't you be sharing this in your county? And none of these people are willing to do that, but they can go win elections. They can advertise for elections. They can go out and do all this other billboards and everything, but nobody can do anything in this county to find Steve Sumner's.
Well, and I know Fox News talked to them. I talked to the gal from Fox News multiple times. She emails me and she has, had to talk to them to verify things. Why wasn't Rodney on their show? You know what I mean? Wouldn't that be an opportunity for him to get on there and say, hey, even lie and say he was trying to look for him? I mean,
right.
Well, apparently
I think part of it is they make
money weekly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he said in the video clip.
And abetting.
He said that in a video clip to Jamie. We got it on recording.
Wow. Yeah. He said we send money every week.
At the very least, this seems to be, we're embarrassed that this guy got away, and at the very most is they are complicit. So either way, none of that looks good. So you can understand why they just don't want to pursue it. But I think somewhere in the middle of that's what's going on. There's, and a lot of these, we look at Jamie Knoll down in Southern Indiana. He'd been raking money for years, giving it to campaigns. He's doing 13 years in jail for money laundering and all that stuff. And a lot of these good old boy networks have been doing this for years.
Well, he should have come to Madison County because he wouldn't have been prosecuted. Right. So
well, he did it for a long, long time. We're talking.
2 weeks ago, Russ got found guilty for election canvassing violations. 2 weeks ago, he was found guilty for finance election violations. Both things for Russ, he will face no charges at all. And that's how ridiculous it is here. Your GOP is the most corrupt of all, and there are no consequences. You want to know why we are the 6th most dangerous county in Madison, or out of 92 counties? Because we have an ineffective prosecutor. We have a cartel that is complicit in every way in that inner circle of these election people, from child molesting to violating elections. Where are you going to go? The people are losing hope in Madison County because it's so bad. And I'm telling you right now, Rodney is going to lose Andrew Hanna's prosecutor run before he even gets to run. on this path, you are showing the people that entire prosecutor needs an overhaul.
Yeah. Andrew needs to separate himself from him right now.
And he needs to start prosecuting.
When does that come up? When do they come up for election? Is that
so they got to run in
26?
2026. Yeah, Rodney's not coming back. So the plan is right now, Rodney's going to step down here somewhere in between now and 26. They're going to caucus in Andrew. And then Andrew will have that seat. But I'm not so sure. I'm going to tell you something right now. If Lisa Rinker and John Ackerman, we have that whole change in that Republican Party, you may see somebody come out for that caucus. If Rodney's given up that seat, you may see another attorney step in. And, people are watching. I mean, yesterday I did a Facebook Live in less than 24 hours. I had 16,000 views. People are paying attention.
They are. They're stepping up. I'm getting messages from police officers who are upset.
The one I did on Jamie Lynn the other day, that one has almost 60,000 views.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Well, and I can say the spillover came to our show that's almost 2 years old, because I think it was about 2 years old. Yeah. And Rodney was thinking about running for attorney general. So look at how that has.
Wasn't attorney general Congress.
Well, and I think his name was mentioned for AG too.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
It's just it's horrible.
I mean, terrible.
I mean, it's just horrible.
Well, I think that a lot of things are changing. I know that the Madison County has been struggling with things. We have sort of a contested Marion County GOP. I know Vanderburgh County, Vermilion County. There's a lot of counties that are starting to see the writing on the wall of this kind of misconduct. That it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. We're just going to let it go. So we hope that we're able to get the word spread out there. $25,000 is not.
I know
that's worth. I may have to go down to Tennessee.
Yeah,
my long lost relatives.
Hate to see it die again. I hate to see it die down again. I mean, it's a lot to keep up with it, but it's just good to get it back out there and that people are actually seeing it and realizing it. And this is real. Yeah.
Well, you know what is amazing about true crime, and I sort of got dragged into this because of the Barry Morphew thing and how I was connected to him, and I had no idea how passionate true crimers are, and keeping this in the true crime network, it means a lot, because they'll go to work. I mean, they will go to work and they work. I'm convinced that they will work harder than law enforcement, and of course absolutely. They don't have the same parameters and rules. Yeah, but man, they get to work. I mean, they get to work on it. So
I remember when Barry Morphew, when that was going on, he was all. I mean, that there was something every day. True crimers were doing that. Yeah, because my ex watched it every day, all day. Yeah,
it's like because he was studying up on what to do, probably, and that's what they were saying.
Barry Morphew is a true crimer himself.
Yeah, he was. That's what he had been watching. Oh yeah, he watched a bunch of true crime.
He would listen when he would go on those hunting trips.
Yeah.
He would listen to hours and hours and hours.
Oh, I bet he did. I bet he did.
Well,
and Laura Salter asks, how do we get this to President Trump? I will tell you, I have been messaging Laura Trump in Facebook Messenger.
You're not going to get her there, honey. You're going to have to go over to Twitter or X.
Right. And so everybody find an avenue over there to the Trumps, and just if they keep hearing the stories more and more, it will come. Go from every angle you can think about going, and just keep giving them information as I post it.
I've contacted Dr. Phil 2 or 3 times.
Dr. who?
Phil.
Dr. Phil, that's a good avenue.
Well, he's out there chasing down, illegals right now.
I have a friend that keeps saying, "Jamie, just keep." I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you just have to keep at it and keep going, and hopefully somebody's going to hear it.
Be a pest, to be honest.
Well,
and here's the thing: if Micah Beckwith is watching, here's the thing. So they have a Facebook page, Hoosiers Against Micah Beckwith, or something like that. Mm-hmm. I post on that page all the time. Do you know why? Because I know people from all over are watching that page.
Yeah.
I don't ever post anything negative about Micah. I just post because I'm hoping that somebody who is somewhere might be looking at that and go, hey, and then it's shared, or it goes to another state, or it goes viral. That's what I'm looking for.
Well, maybe Micah will help.
I saw
maybe
Micah
Mike
today. I got a long list of stuff we need to talk about because I'm going to be on the John Rust show, who's one of the largest egg producers in the country, and talk about bird flu and politics.
Yeah.
So, and if you talk to Micah, please let him know that Kelly Hewer is a snake.
Yes.
I don't think honestly that for this, they're letting those things play out. They're letting whatever.
I hope so. I hope he stays neutral and allows that to roll.
It's a different, they're taking a different stance on this. I've heard this from the top management of the Braun team that they're letting the counties figure out their stuff. So, and you guys have elected a lot of precinct committee. Now we're going to give people a lesson on how this works for the county chair. So they have a March 1st is our reorganization for GOPs in all 92 counties, and the Democrats do it. And these precinct committee people are elected and appointed, and they get together and they'll pick a new chairman. And Russ Willis has been yours for that long. And I think he could easily be tied into this mixture of gobbledygook. So you guys went out and got a bunch of new precinct committee people elected that are tired of this good old boys network.
Yep.
And I do believe you have enough people to get 50% plus one vote to install your selection.
We do believe we've got a good fighting chance. I mean, the fact that Kelly Hewer would have ever put her name in this hat, we've had several election board meetings. Jamie has been at several of those. Not one time have we seen Kelly show her face, and they're always trying to put somebody else in that position to represent Russ. And so, this is a huge problem in Madison County with the elected officials. They have to be removed.
Right.
And this is the only way through.
Our producer Brianna has reminded me of another thing to ask here. Brianna, I love you. Just keep going.
I'm telling you, between Catherine and Bree, I'd be lost. Those two, they've got my back like crazy.
Well, don't leave out Laura.
I was going to say,
hey, and Tim's Funk's watching. He's got a page that has like,
hi, Tim.
17 or 30,000 followers. He lets us post on his page all the time. We are extremely grateful that Tim allows us to post.
Thank you, Tim.
And share all of this.
You should name your segment Funkadelic.
Hey, I wanted to tell you guys while we're on Russ real quick, though. He messaged me and he said something to me basically about, you should read, I should read those. He said something about me drinking the Kool-Aid. Have I drank the Kool-Aid? Because he was horrible.
Only if it's got vodka in it.
They're telling me about after all he did for us, after all the money he gave Steve for
Russ.
this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Russ,
and I said private messaging her. Because it's a creep.
Why did you give Steve money? Oh, he may not have told you because he wanted to be, play the man or whatever. Why was Russ giving Steve money? I've got it right in my messages.
It really irks me that people that say, "Oh, you must have drank the Kool-Aid." For one, it was Flavor Aid.
Yeah.
Okay. And
No sugar.
two, let's not forget that Jim Jones himself was a pedophile.
Yep, that's right.
Oh my gosh. So is Tim's
I don't know, Tim, but you got a lot of women over here saying you've banned them. You better open them all back up. We got
you
rapist to find, Tim.
Is he the Madison County Community Awareness page, or is that?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll give him a shout out since he's on here on ours, and we'll do that.
I just got to tell you this one part, okay? He says, "Is that Kool-Aid so good that you swallow all of the half-truths and fabricated lies? Do you forget who you called?" Oh,
This is Russ.
Yeah, that's Russ.
Keep reading it.
He says,
Bold.
He says, "I don't understand the attacks from you after the assistance, cash, vehicles, etc. we provided to you over the years. Is that Kool-Aid so good that you swallow all the half-truths and fabricated lies? Do you forget who you called multiple times to vent to and ask advice when he was first charged? I made calls to help get him away from watching you from your house, Dad's house next door. I've been on your side in this, and this is the thanks I get. If I knew where he was, I'd turn him in a moment. I have spoken to him. Why he even did this, I don't know. He said, I have spoken to him once since it came down. I passed him in an aisle in Payless. I did a double take. To even recognize him, he spoke first. I said hi and kept walking. I know you are beyond angry and want to lash out, but at me, why? And I said, what vehicles and what cash are you referring to? When he first put fire department,
he's bribing you. The way he laid that out, I'm like, are we like, dude, are you bribing me?
Well, I'll tell you this much, that Brianna's not a fan.
No.
So there you go. She's like,
we like people who tell us how they really feel.
So, well, here's one. Russ says that Teresa's lazy. So far, she's, put some stuff out there
And
and all
Teresa has worked in the polls for many, many years. She's watched this whole thing year after year. She knows the corruption that's all entangled in this. I mean, Nicole's another
Nicole.
one.
that. Here's another.
That's
here's
a compliment,
another
Nicole.
satisfied
That's a
customer.
compliment.
Tim, what does Russ call you? So Tim might say but this is crazy. I mean, Jamie Lynn even went and said he's got all these frequent flyer miles.
Yeah,
She's
I have
wrapped
proof
it in
where
a
I
bow.
showed this. He had 220,000 free flying miles. I got a bank statement like right after the first of that first year. So in 21, I couldn't get from my attorney a whole big bank statement of his, which I mean, obviously still have. I couldn't get home fast enough. I instantly got a hold of state police, Kledheimer. I contacted the prosecutor's office. I've got all that in email. They wanted proof. I sent them proof. Nothing. I mean, they could have cared less. They knew they were going to pave his way. It didn't matter. 18 charges, 220,000.
If they're okay for him to be automatically like, okay, let's say he up and flew the coop and went to Tennessee. Okay, he's been spotted in Pigeon Forge. Was driving a church bus, which we all know that's for children to go to Sunday school and youth group or whatever.
Right.
Somebody had to have connected him to get that spot. Somebody had to have recommended him.
Could very well be. Yep.
What's even more disturbing is, I've been a camp counselor for churches for 30 years. And about 10 or 15 years ago, we had to pass a background check to do anything.
Exactly.
And so how did he get around a background check for that? And that's a church bus. I mean,
I don't know.
Saying somebody, you
have to have certifications to be driving buses.
Could he be under a false name? Could he
Not
be
if
under
it's the short bus? The short bus, you don't have to.
Yeah, right.
Oh, come on, Catherine. That was a cheap shot right there.
No, I'm telling you for sure because I used to have to drive it for the high school.
Oh, you had to drive. I was on the short bus. You drove.
No, like for sports and things after school, and they didn't want to take a big bus. Well, for the big bus, you have to have a CDL, but the short bus, you don't have to. Yeah. No, I mean this like honestly, like I'm
okay. We thought you were.
Do we know? Was it a full size bus or was it a short bus?
I don't know. I
don't know.
I feel bad for even asking that.
Could he be under a different name? Could he go under Joe Schmolian?
Well, she said this girl. I forgot about this. This girl said I think he was going by the name Craig. Craig is his middle name, and he went by that. In fact, when I first met him, one of his best friends said, "We call him Craig, and we'd appreciate if you did too." So he grew up being called Craig.
And that's how the Lycans all know him as Craig.
Yep. That's what they call him.
In high school, that's what all his high school people know him as Craig.
Yep.
We need to update that flyer to put the quotes on Craig.
We need to put that on.
That's true. I didn't. Yeah.
And this is the type of thing that it's just infuriates you. You get somebody does this type of thing, no bond, they take off, and 2 years on the lam, whatever, and your life, Jamie, it sounds like your life is starting to get normal, but I know you would love to have some closure on this and the justice and all the things that as citizens we deserve, and you've not received that.
Like Cheryl says, there's no arrest record for him in Madison County.
But if there is, a manhunt going on, wouldn't he pop red on a background check?
Well, here's the thing.
Flagged?
They just now put something out for his arrest. Like, was it in June or something? They didn't have anything out for him at all. So if you would have run something on him, you would have never seen anything.
Now, Rodney did file a warrant.
When was that?
Let me look.
Just a few months ago.
Here's a good idea from Laura.
It was actually right after he disappeared.
Laura, if it was only that easy.
Sure.
In this part of the South, there's a church on every block. And it's real hard to get flyers out to each and every church because there is just in my area. Oh my gosh. And I live in a little part of Georgia just outside of Atlanta. You can't swing a dead cat without hitting a church.
Yeah.
We live in the Bible Belt. You live in the Bible South.
Yeah, it's kind of like that around here too. Like he filed that warrant. He filed a felony 6 warrant on August 8th of 23. Failure to appear, but where the charge released on is a felony charge.
Okay,
so
yeah.
he has said that, because honestly, I don't know exactly how the special prosecutor thing works as far as he even hopped on, remember that on government accountability or in the Republican group, one or the other, saying that this wasn't him, it's a special prosecutor, but he can file a warrant. And
and this is what people need to understand. So what happens is that when there's a conflict of interest, which there was when Steve got picked up, it was already a conflict of interest. He's an elected official in Madison County. Yeah. Rodney Cummings should have never touched this. Judge Childers should have never touched this. And both of them had their hands on it. Yep. When they got called on it, that it was a conflict of interest, that's when they punted. And I think they sent it to, was it Delaware, or they sent it to another county? It wasn't Tippecanoe originally. It wasn't there originally, I don't think.
Oh, there you go. Brianna's on it.
Okay.
Right?
Prosecutor in Tippecanoe.
It ends up at Tippecanoe. What people need to understand, the prosecutor gets to choose the special prosecutor.
Yeah.
Meaning that, hey, I know John, so I'm going to call John over there in Marion County. Can you do me this favor? John goes, sure, man, I'll do you a favor. But the next time I have somebody's child rapist, I'm going to need something in return.
Yeah.
So then John's like, okay, I'm on board. Then Madison County's on board. And this is how you never get justice, because the people who are picking these special prosecutors, they're all in bed with each other.
Yeah.
This is corruption. This is real.
When I met, so this is what Bree's talking about. When I met with that special prosecutor last July, and again, we need to break it down and get it out, because I hate hearing my voice on it, but I'm telling you, the guy is an ass. I'm sorry, but he is. So I had my, one of the victims with me. She had one question, and I realize in this recording, you can't watch him like roll his eyes, but if you could hear the answer he gave her and how he talked to her. I mean, at one point, I started crying. I said, we're on the same team, aren't we? I mean, this is just a general question. I've never questioned you guys. I have 4 questions here. And he looked at me and talked to me. He finally got mad and stood up in his chair and was done.
You know what's so interesting?
He realized I was recording him. That's probably why.
When Jamie was bringing all this up, we were going back, and Steve has a case back that's probably 20 some years old. And it's something that has to do with the Lion's Den. Mm-hmm. Now, the only thing I know about the Lion's Den is it's like a sex bookshop when you
right on the highway, Kentucky.
Right on the highways, right? And so there was this thing. Well, because no one ever moved on it all these years, and the attorney on there retired, it just got closed out.
Wow.
And so we had to go get it archived, and it got it out of the archive. So we have the whole thing. We have to go through it now. And so, here's the thing. These people knew he had something with the Lion's Den, and they still ran him. And you know why? Because if they have something like that, they can say, I'm going to keep you in check, because if you run your mouth, we're going to expose you for what you're doing. Yeah.
You guys are figuring this politic thing out.
Yeah. I mean, this is how crazy
I've watched a lot of it firsthand. I mean, I worked the polls for Rodney, I've worked in it, been married to it. I've been in it for a long time. So I've seen these people. And then I'm seeing the other side, like Linda Smith, Rodney. I mean, I could go on and on and on. I mean, this stuff, from some of those people, and Catherine knows that, I knew these people. It has been hard
and never suspected anything like that.
And I haven't just overnight made accusations or anything. They have shown me. I'm shocked that this kind of stuff goes on. I'm shocked.
You've seen behind the curtain, this isn't a rabbit hole. This is a wormhole that you're getting into. And a lot of people don't see these things. And I think if a lot of people were to see this, it would be tough. Dee Dee.
So I decided just punch in Craig Sumner, former Madison County councilman charged with child sex crimes. Right there. It's the first one.
Yep.
So if anybody, if he's trying to apply for a job or volunteer work or anything, all they have to do is Google his name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Google's free. You don't have to pay for a background check. It's free.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
And I think that more people that hear this story and see your strength and your courage to go through this, and if they go back and watch our other show and they can fast forward to now, it seems like you're much more in command of all of this stuff. You've seen.
They did help and give me backbone. That's for sure. We have such a common, because, I'll get things like, you're just fighting all the politics. That doesn't have it has this politics has everything to do with it. And the neighbor, the old farmer, I say that he's passed away now, wonderful people. But he told me right in the beginning, Jamie, you better toughen up. This is all going to be political. And I'd be like,
what does that
doesn't
mean?
happen. It did. It happened right before my eyes. So the politics that we're fighting has everything to do with what went on with that, what's going on with Josh Sin. I knew when I saw Josh Cincinnati on Facebook, I knew exactly what was getting ready to take place. I've screenshotted his entire my case. So when they decide to mess with it, it'll, I can show that what it really was. I had another gal contact me that, and this was back in the 80s, but her stepdad was a APD officer. He molested her from the age of, I think like 4 to 16. If you look at my case, there's no case. She said they made it disappear. They sent him to Florida. He did it again and again and again, and he finally went to prison. I know who his partner was. I didn't know this guy, but this isn't the only instance of this. And I'm hoping that, people will get their nerve up and continue to reach out to us. There's more stories out there like this. I guarantee it.
Yeah. So Laura wants to put this out there. See, you're doing great without Steve. Steve, you are a wimp.
Love you,
Laura. He might be watching this. You just never know.
Oh,
if you are Steve,
I'm sure he's watching this.
If you're watching this, Steve, if you're one of our 30 viewers here that we have on Facebook and YouTube, the Forensic Foreplay, turn yourself in.
I'm sure
we'll go easy on you.
I just lost.
Yeah.
So, it's just what I've noticed being in politics, and I got into politics totally different way than Catherine and you and Dee Dee's not in politics, thank the Lord, because she would choke somebody.
Yeah, don't do it.
I noticed that when I wanted to start getting involved, it was the two things they did: they discourage and then destroy, and then rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
they will wear you down until you tap out.
Call you crazy. Oh, she's crazy.
Until they strangle you.
Darlene Likens
drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
drinking that Kool-Aid. Look at him drinking the Kool-Aid. We're having a big Kool-Aid festival.
I hate it when people say that. That just gets on my nerves.
I just want to go drink some Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Man, I just go get the
the
Smurf
I worked
color.
At Kohl's for Catherine last spring, it's right across from where the Likenses live and vote. So I got to talk to each one of them one by one all day long. Darlene, who I've known for a long time, I knew her before I knew Steve. I worked at the courthouse. She worked at the courthouse, known her a long time. So her and her husband park up there and they go in. She walks back out and she just stands on the step. And I just faced him and stared at her. She finally walked out and there was other people working the polls. So she goes around me and my daughter. She talks to this person, and she walked back by me to talk to this other lady. Sweet, and I hope you win. And I said, you don't have anything to say to me? And actually, Jordan was at the car. She was just walking back from the car. I said, you don't have anything to say to me? She said, well, have a good day or something like that. And I said, you shouldn't support pedophiles. And she said, I don't. And I said, you want to tell my daughter, one of the victims standing right here, that you don't support pedophiles? She said, you're just crazy. And turned around and walked away. I just laughed. Thanks for the compliment. You're going to see how crazy I am.
And what we want you to really know, to take away from this whole show, Dee Dee, I don't know if there's a way to put those pictures that I just sent in Messenger.
Yeah,
but what we have called it in Madison County, it's the Friends and Family Benefit Package of elected officials. And as long as you're in that inner circle, you're protected.
Yeah.
Well, that's obvious.
So if you look at this, who are in these pictures with Steve Sumner's? Commissioner Rick Gardner, Prosecutor Rodney Cummins,
Russ
Willis, the Likens family. And we just want people to understand this corruption has to go. Mm-hmm. Kelly Hewer has to go.
The only way it's going to happen is if they get voted out.
That's the only way they have to go, and that we can get in there and let me start exposing even more.
Can I ask you guys just your opinion or question on this? So another thing that George Likens told me that day was that there was Steve had 3 computers in the church basement that he said doing stocks on. So I asked the marshal, did you
like day trading?
Know, huh?
Like day trading stocks?
Yes.
He was doing that in the church basement?
Yes.
That's
where he was living, right. Oh, I've got a picture of their bedroom, what it looked like.
Oh
They had a dog. They had a dog in the church basement and had it all fixed up. Anyways,
you should see
I
that
don't
picture.
get it.
I contacted the marshal. I can pull that picture up. I contacted the marshal and asked him about those computers. Did you know about these computers? George Likens just, blah, blah. You'll have to ask Kledheimer about that.
And Brianna said they didn't even take any of his devices.
No.
Well,
that right there should have been the first thing they went for.
They did in the beginning.
Well, if they did, they'd find other elected officials on there. I guarantee it.
You're probably right.
Okay,
I
You're
guarantee
right.
it. And you know what? It's better to say, la, 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 la. I don't know anything. Yep. So you can't say I knew something.
They did take his and her phone that night. And I had taken 2 of his big laptops. That's the other big thing. That's one of the things I wanted to ask the special prosecutor about, because I took those computers that night. Kledheimer would not take them from me. He said it would be phishing. If I found anything on them myself, he would take them. I didn't know how to dig deep into a computer.
No, because then his defense could say, you put it there.
Right.
They should have immediately taken them.
The thing is, yes, because the thing is, okay, hold on. So I realized there was an iPad out in my business that I didn't use. It was out there. I forgot about it. So I contacted Kledheimer. Hey, we got this iPad out here. You want to take a look at it? I mean, who knows? They found another device hidden in the barn he was using and took it. So he came by and got it. And in like a couple weeks or so, he just pulls in the driveway and he hands it back to me and says there's nothing on it. So finally, all of a sudden, like a year later, he contacted me and asked me about those 2 laptops I had. Can I have them? He wanted to get them. I gave them to him. So that's one of the questions I wanted to ask the special prosecutor. And I kept asking Kledheimer about him. I've got all the text showing it. He kept giving me the runaround about it. Prosecutor had to file something with the judge to give those back to me because supposedly there wasn't anything found on them. So when I asked the special prosecutor about it, and I said, Kledheimer was supposed to email you about those, because if there's nothing, I said, from what I'm being told, and I've read, if you did not find anything on those, I can have them back. They have my business information on them, thousands of pictures of my kids, on and on. He said, well, I don't know who you're getting your information from, but you're wrong. And he said, as long as we can't verify with his attorney, because he can't talk to him about giving them back, you'll probably never get them back. My guess is they're loaded, because those 2 laptops, well, I honestly hate to even say it because they still have their hands on them. But why else? I mean, I've never been through this before. Why else would they not at least, one, talk to me nicely about it and explain some things to me why I can't have them? But why didn't they take them for a year? And this is my big question about those 2. Why are those being held on to and handled differently than the iPad that I gave him, that he pulled back in my driveway and handed it to me? We didn't have to have a court order to give back.
Because there's stuff on those laptops.
And they want to.
Do they not think this stuff is obvious? Do they not think that we can't see this stuff? I mean,
well,
it blows my mind. It blows my mind.
Once he's going to get caught. I think he's going to get caught.
Eventually.
Catherine's help. I mean, he's going to get caught. People are going to see the story, and they're going to start looking, and they'll get caught. He'll get caught. The stuff that he did, the pain he put you through, he's going to get caught. And then we're going to see what happened to this stuff, because you have done your homework along the way. After a while, you realize that, hey, if I don't document these things, they're going to have to be very careful to what they try to cover up. If they're going to try to cover up, I'm not allegedly, you're going to have the goods.
Yes.
And so they're going to have.
The report is only good if he's alive, because I got to have him alive. I mean, that's just the bottom line. We got to have him alive.
So wait a second, your reward is not dead or alive, like in the
no, it's only alive, because he's got information on all these people. There's no question that he's got information.
All right. So all you bounty hunters out there, the 25K, don't.
We need
he's got to be breathing. He's got to be breathing.
Can you guys see that?
That's the bedroom.
That's the picture of the bedroom in the basement of the church. They had a freaking dog.
And that's a big dog.
Yeah. They were living like life was normal in the basement of the church.
So how long did he live there?
I find that so odd.
He was working at a grocery store here. I don't know which one. Her daughter couldn't remember, but.
Man, it's just, I mean, he is sort of in a prison, his own prison that he's made, but he's not in the prison sort of thing. So, all right. Well, hey, ladies, we're at the end of the hour. It went quick, didn't it, Dee Dee?
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
It's been very enlightening. It's good to catch up on things.
Yeah.
And so if you live down in Tennessee, I got some peeps down there. Put some eyes out there. That's 25K, but he's got to be breathing, okay?
Yep.
If he's watching, I'm in Georgia, and I never forget a face.
Yep, that's right. Like you said, he is not attractive.
No, he's not a good man. Not.
Hey,
I don't want to be
listen.
like, look shaming.
Yeah.
No.
Now, you always end your other show with what our theories are.
Oh, you want to do the conspiracy theory? I got the 10 foil hats for you.
Yeah.
So
I'm just going to give you my thoughts as I listen to John say we're going to find him.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm not trying to take anyone's hope away. I'm not so sure we find him. Now, Beeman says everybody's got a Judas, right? Does everybody know what a Judas is?
Yeah, that 25K is that Judas's fee.
Yeah. So some people don't know what a Judas is, but that somebody will eventually turn. I was hoping that this time, it would be a time where people have buyer's remorse from Christmas. It would be a great time. Somebody would turn him in. Maybe he's made this woman that he's mad with. And maybe, because to be honest with you, she looks kind of like Jamie Lynn. So I don't know how she feels that probably when he's having sex with her, he's thinking of Jamie. It's pretty disgusting.
Okay. We could have ended the show at 10 o'clock.
So, but listen, here's the thing. I hope that sticks in her mind every time now, and she turns him in. So, but my thinking is that the Lycans, and with all the political power they have so much, I don't know if we ever find them.
Yeah. They have a lot of fields. They have a lot of fields.
I kind of agree with Catherine here that kind of the only way that someone is going to turn him in, he's going to, if I may speak freely.
Absolutely.
It's your show, Dee Dee.
He's going to end up pissing off somebody in his own inner circle. He's going to step on somebody's toes. He's going to overstay his welcome or mess with someone's kid. And he's going to get thrown under the bus by someone in his own ring.
Yeah.
I hope so.
And then they're just going to start throwing each other under the bus. But
it's like it'll be like dominoes.
Yeah.
I just at this point want him to come back and talk.
That's my hope. I know we're going over, but my other hope is that maybe we'll find a criminal in the elected party, and somebody will finally get some charges against him, and then they'll make a plea deal. I'll give you Steve.
Sing like a canary.
Yes.
Yes.
I just want everybody to know I filed a complaint against Ben Gale and his finances last night at the election yesterday for the election board, and I'm going to keep coming until somebody starts talking.
Yep.
Turn
him in, Gail. Turn him in, Ben Gale. He hated your guts. I heard him say so many bad things about Ben Gale and Anthony Emery and Russ Willis, all of them. Rodney, you guys stick up for him all you want. He badmouthed every one of you. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yep.
So, I mean, oh boy. Well, that's a good one to end on. Ladies, we thank you so much for coming on here. And we will be watching and wondering.
Laura, we can't talk about those things.
Hey, thanks for letting us steal your guys' show for a night. We appreciate it.
Oh, no,
ladies. It's good to see both of you again.
That's what we took off almost a year, Dee Dee. I don't know.
It's been a busy year for me, but things are finally like mellowing out and I can get back to normal. It's nice.
There's not one person on this broadcast tonight that's normal.
We've got a million other
back
things.
To ourselves to say
you want to follow up, let us know. You know where to find us.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Spread the word. True crimers, do your work. Go to work.
We'll keep fighting the good fight over here in Madison County.
25K. So, all right, everybody. Peace out. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, whoops. I didn't push the right button, Dee Dee. I was supposed to push this. Well, hey, we could talk now since our guests are gone. We'll talk a little bit about this. It's wild, isn't it?
Yeah. The thing is, I can't believe it because he had been, if memory serves, he was still in Tennessee the last time we did a broadcast.
That or Montana.
And it's the Pigeon Forge area. I'm going to guess he is Airbnb hopping.
Yeah, because they did mention that. So Pigeon Forge, that's like Gatlinburg and whatnot.
Yeah,
right?
It's actually not too far from me.
No, it's just right up the road.
Yep.
We're
real close to Tennessee.
So, here I can see Dee Dee now in the parking lot at the Kmart waiting for him to come out.
My kids, now all the churches in the South, they're all like somebody always knows somebody else. So, our church here, is very, very tight. The church the kids go to is very tight, and they keep a very close eye on new people coming in. He would not be able just to ride a bus or to drive a bus for our kids here.
Yeah,
There's
somebody hooked him
no
up
way.
with that, and he's probably feeling a little heat on that. But we'll stay up on it, and then we'll see. And then we also follow the Barry Morphew case, and
and he's still walking free though, isn't he?
Yeah, well, they found Suzanne, and now they're sort of waiting for the new prosecutor to come, and he still has the civil case that I think is going to get dismissed, and then I think that's going to clear the way for something. But I can't think with the evidence that's out there just now, it's not.
Well, now that I had been waiting on Suzanne's toxicology report, and once I read that, I'm like, that motherfucker.
Yeah, it's like
he killed her.
Yeah,
like, there wasn't even any doubt in my mind anyway, but you need that.
I was like giving I'm too generous sometimes, but once they found the tranquilizer stuff in there and he had tranquilizer guns for I mean, come on, dude. I mean, really. And then he's telling everybody to go search north when he knows it just was. And
I honestly, I can't believe he's still that goes to show you it's not just your county, it's your whole damn state, dude.
Well,
for him to be walking around just free as a bird.
Yeah, and that's out there in Maysville where he's where he was, it is, it's like gold mine country and desolate, and
I want to know if I think Colorado is an extradition state. Well, regardless, you could be extradited back to any state where you committed a crime.
Well, but I think he's here in Indy. Last I heard, but he's going to be charged in Colorado. So
right, he will be. He will be.
But I got Matt Blank. We should have him come on. He's been following that case a bunch. He'll send me updates on it. Let's try to work him together the next couple weeks or so, and just to catch up on that one. And then maybe we could get some credit for tracking down this Steve Sumner guy. I'd love to see that. But I'll tell you, Jamie, since we talked to her, I can't believe it's been a couple years ago, but she is definitely in a better place. Because I know when I interviewed her last time, I was just like,
Robbie Harvey videos pertaining to Micah Miller. That's another case that I was kind of watching a little bit.
What's this one then?
The Micah Miller case. It's really good.
So give us a little teaser on that one then.
It's another preacher man. Another preacher
man. You can't trust these preachers at
Jim Jones. Well, no, she took her own life. Supposedly, there's a whole bunch of shit behind that one. There's a whole bunch of shit.
Oh, man.
That whole case broke my damn heart. And her husband is just a scum bucket. Like he's just one.
He's insane. His wife's
mentally ill, but he's the narcissist. He's the one that's got the problems up here, like diagnosed. And he had her convinced she was the one sick in the head. What he did to her mentally, he should be put in jail just for that alone.
Yep. All right, Dee Dee. Well, I'll push the right button this time. It's good to see you again. We'll get out and we'll do some more shows coming up because we're back, baby. We're back.
I'm available.
All right. All right. So, we'll see y'all next time. Thanks for tuning in. Absolutely. Share with your friends. Forensic Foreplay. We're the fastest growing true crime show in Madison County.
Your county.
All right, everybody. See ya.
Bye.